Right now, somewhere in Phoenix, a man is standing on his roof with a paint roller and a bucket of white slurry that cost him $7 at Home Depot. It is 112 degrees outside. His attic was 148 degrees this morning. By tomorrow afternoon, that attic will sit at 101. His indoor temperature will drop by a full 10 degrees. His AC unit, the one that costs him $347 a month from May through September, will barely cycle on for the rest of the summer. And the powder in that bucket has been doing this exact thing for over 4,000 years. The powder is hydrated lime, calcium hydroxide, a fine white mineral you can buy in a 50-pound bag at any hardware store in the country for $7 to $14. Mixed with water, it creates a coating that reflects up to 98% of incoming solar radiation. Not 50%, not 70%, 98%. That means nearly every photon of sunlight that hits your roof bounces straight back into the atmosphere instead of converting into heat inside your home. One afternoon of application, 2 coats, 0 electricity, a surface temperature drop of 40 degrees compared to a standard dark shingle roof sitting 15 feet away. And 17 states have building codes, HOA mandates, or municipal ordinances that effectively make it illegal for you to put this on your own house. That last part is not an accident, it is a strategy. And once you understand who benefits from keeping your roof dark and your AC running at full power, everything about why this was buried starts making perfect sense. This is not some fringe theory cooked up on the internet last week. Travel to Santorini, walk through any village clinging to the cliffs above the Aegean Sea. Every wall is white, every rooftop is white. That is not decoration, that is thermal engineering perfected 3,000 years before anyone coined the term. The Minoans on Crete were doing this in 1500 BC. They burned local limestone in kilns, slaked it with water, and painted every sun-facing surface. Interior temperatures held steady around 72 degrees through summers that pushed well past 95 outside. No fans, no ductwork, no compressor humming in a concrete pad beside the house. Just crushed rock and water and a civilization that understood exactly what sunlight does to a dark surface. The Romans took it further. They mixed calcium lime directly into their plaster. Every villa, every bathhouse, every public building across the Southern Empire used this technique as standard construction practice. When the empire expanded into North Africa and the Middle East, the method went with it. Centuries later, the whitewashed villages of Andalusia in southern Spain, the Medinas of Morocco, the cliff dwellings of Puglia in Italy, all of them still rely on this exact same powder to survive brutal summer heat without a single mechanical system. Billions of people across thousands of years arrived at the same conclusion independently. White calcium coatings on a building's exterior reduce interior heat dramatically. That kind of convergence across cultures and continents does not happen by accident. It happens because the physics are undeniable. Here is why you were never told any of this. In 1902, Willis Carrier designed the first modern electrical air conditioning system. It was not invented because lime coatings had failed. They had worked perfectly for millennia. AC was invented because lime could not be sold to you on a monthly billing cycle. A $14 bag of powder that keeps your house cool for an entire season generates exactly 0 recurring revenue. No filter replacements, no refrigerant recharges, no annual maintenance contracts, no monthly electricity draw averaging $150 to $400 depending on your climate zone. The residential and commercial HVAC industry generates over $150 billion annually in the United States alone. The global paint and coatings industry adds another $200 billion on top of that. Combined, that is $350 billion every single year flowing through systems designed around the assumption that your roof must absorb heat and your AC must remove it. A powder that breaks both sides of that equation for under $15 is not something those industries have any reason to promote. And they did not just ignore it, they helped build the framework that buries it. Homeowner associations in at least 17 states now carry explicit covenants restricting or outright prohibiting white, ultra-reflective, or lime-coated roofing surfaces. They mandate earth tones, dark grays, browns, muted shades that blend into a neighborhood aesthetic nobody ever voted on. And those exact colors, every single one of them, are the precise shades that absorb the maximum amount of solar radiation and guarantee you need mechanical cooling from April through October. This is not some conspiracy theory. It is written into homeowner governing documents you can read yourself. Roofing industry standards reinforce it. Building codes in multiple jurisdictions codify it. The result is a regulatory environment that funnels you directly toward a $5,000 to $15,000 AC installation and a lifetime of monthly utility payments, all while a $7 bag of powder that the same powder your great-grandmother used sits on a shelf 10 minutes from your house. Let me just show you how this actually works, because the science behind it is elegant, and it is the reason no one in the industry can argue against it with a straight face. You already understand this principle. You've lived it your entire life. Stand on blacktop in July and your shoes soften. Stand on white concrete 5 feet away and the surface is noticeably cooler under your feet. Wear a black shirt in direct sunlight and you feel the heat soak into your skin within minutes. Swap it for a white shirt and the difference is immediate. That is solar absorption versus solar reflection, and it governs how every surface on Earth interacts with sunlight. Dark surfaces absorb solar radiation and convert it into thermal energy, heat. That heat radiates inward through your roof deck, into your attic, through your ceiling, and into your living space. A standard dark asphalt shingle roof absorbs 85 to 95% of all incoming solar energy. On a 100-degree day, that roof surface can reach 160 to 180 degrees. Your attic becomes an oven. Your AC fights that oven for 14 hours straight, and you pay for every minute of that fight. Now coat that same roof with calcium hydroxide. The reflectance jumps to 90% or higher. Surface temperature drops by 40 to 60 degrees. Your attic goes from 150 down to 95. The heat load on your ceiling is cut by more than half. Your AC cycles on maybe twice an hour instead of running continuously. That is not a marginal improvement. That is a structural transformation of your home's thermal behavior for the price of a fast food meal. In 2021, Professor Shulin Ruin at Purdue University took this principle to its physical limit. His team developed an ultra-white barium sulfate coating that reflects 98.1% of solar radiation. Surfaces coated with it did not just stay cool, they dropped below ambient air temperature during full daylight, 8 degrees cooler than the surrounding air in the middle of the day, 19 degrees cooler at night. Ruin calculated that 1,000 square feet of this coating produces 10 kilowatts of cooling power continuously. That is more output than most residential central AC systems deliver. From a coat of paint, zero electricity. The Guinness Book of World Records certified it as the whitest surface ever created. Peer-reviewed papers confirmed it. And then the industry responded with something very close to total silence. Here is exactly what you need and what it costs. One 50-pound bag of Type S hydrated lime from any hardware store, $7 to $14. Clean water, a 5-gallon bucket, a stir stick, a thick nap paint roller or a large masonry brush, a ladder, and basic roof safety equipment you probably already own. Total material cost for an average 1,500 square foot roof is $14 to $28. 2 bags. That is it. I tried this 2 summers ago on a small steel-roofed workshop that was unbearable by noon every day from June through August. Mixed 1 part lime to 2 parts water in a 5-gallon bucket, stirred it until it had the consistency of thin milk, rolled on the first coat in about 40 minutes, let it dry overnight, put down a second coat the next morning. The surface went from a dark, weathered gray that burned your hand on contact to a bright, chalky white that you could press your palm flat against at 2 p.m. in July and feel nothing but mild warmth. I hung a cheap thermometer inside before the coating and checked it every day for a month. Average interior temperature dropped from 118 degrees down to 94, 24 degrees. The workshop went from unusable in summer to comfortable enough to work in all afternoon. The whole thing cost me $11 and a few hours I actually enjoyed spending. Mix 1 part lime to 2 parts water. Stir thoroughly until no lumps remain and the mixture flows smoothly off the stir stick. Apply the first coat to your clean, dry roof surface using long, even strokes. Work in sections, do not let it pool. Let the first coat cure for a minimum of 12 hours. Apply the second coat perpendicular to the first. 2 coats is the minimum for effective coverage and reflectance. 3 coats on extremely dark or porous surfaces. Here is the one thing people get wrong when they first try this. They mix it too thick. If your slurry looks like yogurt, you have too much lime and not enough water. A thick coat cracks as it dries, flakes off within weeks, and people blame the material instead of the technique. Thin coats bond. They cure into the surface. They hold. Think whitewash, not plaster. Thin, even, and patient. 2 thin coats will outperform and outlast 1 thick coat every single time. Under realistic average conditions, expect a surface temperature reduction of 30 to 50 degrees on your roof and an interior temperature drop of 8 to 12 degrees, depending on insulation, attic ventilation, and roof material. In best-case scenarios, direct sun on a metal or flat concrete roof, some homeowners report drops of 15 degrees or more inside. A homeowner in Central Texas documented his AC electricity usage dropping by over $1,200 in a single cooling season after applying 2 coats of hydrated lime to his 1,800 square foot roof. Now scale this up. A single bag covers roughly 400 to 500 square feet in 2 coats. A large home with 2,500 square feet of roof surface needs 5 or 6 bags. Total cost under $85. An entire homestead compound, house, workshop, barn, chicken coop, all coated in a single weekend for less than $150. Every structure on your property running cooler without drawing a single watt from the grid. In off-grid scenarios, this is not a luxury improvement. It is the difference between livable shelter and a heat trap that drains your battery bank dry by noon trying to run a portable AC unit that cannot keep up anyway. Here is the honest limitation. Lime wash is not a permanent modern coating. It weathers. Rain erodes it gradually. In heavy precipitation climates, you will need to reapply once a year, sometimes twice. In dry climates, it can last 2 to 3 seasons before it needs a fresh coat. But a reapplication takes 2 hours and costs $7 to $14. Your grandparents did exactly this every spring. It was a seasonal ritual, not a burden. 20 minutes of mixing, 90 minutes of rolling, and the house was set for summer. Now look at what the commercial market sells you as the modern version of this. Reflective roof coatings from major brands like Henry, Gacco, or Hempel run $50 to $120 per 5-gallon bucket. The active reflective ingredient in most of them is titanium dioxide, or calcium carbonate, the exact same mineral base as lime, suspended in acrylic or silicone binders. You are paying 10 to 15 times the price for the same core chemistry packaged in a branded bucket with a marketing budget attached. The binder makes it last longer per coat, that is true, but the reflective work is being done by the same white mineral compound that costs pennies per pound in its raw form. This knowledge was never lost. It was economically inconvenient. Every Mediterranean grandmother who painted her courtyard white every April understood passive cooling better than most modern architects trained in climate-controlled universities. Professor Ruin proved with laboratory precision what Cretan builders demonstrated with limestone and sunlight 35 centuries ago. The physics never changed. The chemistry never changed. What changed was who profited from making sure you never connected those dots. I don't know what brought you to this video. Maybe you're staring at a $400 electric bill right now and looking for a way out. Maybe you're building off-grid and need cooling that doesn't depend on a generator or a solar array you can't afford yet. Maybe you're just the kind of person who wants to understand how things actually work, and you ended up here because an algorithm surfaced something real for once. It doesn't matter. The powder works the same regardless of why you found it. A $7 bag of hydrated lime, one afternoon, 2 coats, 10 degrees cooler inside your home without drawing a single watt of electricity. 4,000 years of proof, certified by Guinness, confirmed by Purdue, exposed right here, right now. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.